Hey there, vinyl community. It's Joel, and I'm doing my Black Friday, what I picked up. Spoiler, it's not that much, and I'm going to do it at the start. And then I'm going to do part one of my November haul because I got a lot of vinyl in November. There's a lot of good deals. So I'm just going to cover 13 records today that I got over the month of November. Some kind of came at the end of October. I didn't get to them. So I'll just get to my Black Friday deals that I got, which weren't really Black Friday deals. They're more, I live in Canada, and there's a store called Sunrise Records, and I think the equivalent in the States is Music on Vinyl. I think. Could be wrong there. But they released some LPs that were on colored vinyl, and I got two of them. I wanted to get more, but they're rather expensive, and I'm kind of cheap, I guess. So I didn't really pick up everything I wanted, but I got two. And the first one I got was Get a Grip by Aerosmith. I just picked it up late yesterday, and I had to work yesterday, so I kind of missed out on most of the Black Friday stuff by the time I got there at 6. And this was still there, and this is what I really kind of wanted. I want to kind of start collecting Aerosmith on vinyl, so Get a Grip is a good way to start. I originally had this on cassette, and this one is on white vinyl. So here is the one inner sleeve. I won't show you the vinyl here because I have it in my record player at the moment. But this one I'll show you the white vinyl. So that's the second sleeve. And I'm just going to show you the vinyl. So it's on white. I'm always a sucker for white vinyl. I don't know what it is about it. I just love white vinyl. I'll pretty much buy anything if it's on white vinyl. It sounds stupid, but just how I am. There's just something I really like about white vinyl. And the next one I got, because I like to collect them on vinyl as well, is Def Leppard, Pyromania. This is on red vinyl. Aerosmith was like 40 bucks. This was 35 bucks. So it is kind of pricey. This is kind of like a translucent red. Not much in the way of liner notes. So, yeah. I guess it's not really translucent. It says translucent red, but I can't see through it. Guess they kind of lied. Let me just see exactly what it says. No, it just says limited edition red vinyl. Red opaque. I thought opaque meant kind of clear, but I don't know. I don't know. Alright, so that's my record store day haul. That was the most expensive haul I got. Everything else I kind of got a lot cheaper off of Amazon or online or in store. So I'll show you those. So a lot of these I ordered in October in the Halloween spirit, and they didn't arrive until November, I think. So I'm in Canada, and there's a Canadian post strike going on, so that kind of affects things. And the first album I got is It Follows. So this movie creeped me out when I saw it. I've seen it 3 times, and it creeps me out every time. I don't know what it is about the movie. I don't really generally get creeped out, but this movie, if you haven't seen it, it's low budget, kind of cool, it's slow moving, but man, did it creep me out, and I love the soundtrack. Unfortunately, the soundtrack kind of hisses and pops a lot. I don't really clean my records. I should start doing that. I don't really buy used records, so I never really saw a need to clean them. I know some people clean them before they play every record. I don't have like the most expensive player, but maybe if I do clean this thing, it'll sound better. But I was kind of disappointed in the sound. Most of my records don't pop. Second album we got, or number 4 in my reviews, because I'm doing 13, is Ace Frehley's new album. Wasn't really going to get this. I heard Ace Frehley fired his band, and I kind of thought he was a jerk for doing that. But then I realized he called them up personally and fired them, where most people, like from what I heard from Jakey Lee when he left Ozzy Osbourne, it was just his guitar tech was like, yeah, Ozzy no longer needs you. And, you know, Ozzy never really explained it to him. But Ace Frehley at least explained it to his band that, you know, he wanted to try something new. So, and it is show business. So, I like Ace Frehley's old band, but his new band does sound pretty awesome from the live shows I've been listening to. So this is a really cool album. I didn't, again, want to buy it because the single they released, Rockin' with the Boys, I did not like at all. But on this album, I like it. Just as a single, I don't like it. But in the context of the album, it fits in great. They also do a cover of I Want to Go Back, originally by Eddie Money. And there is just an instrumentational album? Instrumental song, yeah. I know English. Just when I get a camera on me, I kind of stutter and say a lot. But I do know English. So Quantum Flux is an instrumental. It sounds really cool. And this came on like a silver vinyl, and it's kind of got texture to it. So you see the like a little dark mark up top. And you can't really see the texture too well, but it's kind of in the center. Looks kind of melty or like a space planet. So this was $22. It is a good frickin' album. I'm not like a huge, like I don't have any other Ace Soul albums aside from his Kiss one. Like I know he did, well they got them all here. I don't have any of these. But I might pick them up because I like this album a lot. I spun it about 6 times and I just enjoy the thing. So if you're an Ace Frehley fan, I recommend it. It wouldn't be one of my reviews without this one. For this artist, Alice Cooper. I think I review him pretty much every vinyl review I do. I just love Alice Cooper. I'm a big fan of Alice Cooper. I want to get everything on vinyl. And this is Paranormal, and it came down to $29. It's just on black vinyl. There's nothing really cool about the packaging. Lyrics are cool. It's like, and everything, but you know, nothing's really like amazing about it, but I like this album a lot. You have like a reunion between some of the original band and Alice. I think they did it on Welcome to My Nightmare Part 2 as well. This is two disc, and it came with a CD, which I meant to bring up here, but it's got a CD of 5 live songs too. It was just in a cardboard sleeve, so you're not really missing anything by me not showing it, but it did come with a CD. Good value for $29. Good album. My favorite song on this is The Sound of A, by far. Genuine American Girl is a good tune. I think it's kind of, I think that's a Neil Smith song. There's no credits on this at the back, so I can't really say. And I think he did a reunion with You and All Your Friends with the original band. And Larry Mullen from U2 drums on all these albums, and it's got one of the guitars from ZZ Top on a song or two. Again, I don't have the credits on here right now, but despite all that, really rocking album. There's no theme. Usually with an Alice Cooper album you get a theme. This is just kind of a collection of songs. And it's produced by Bob Ezrin, so it sounds amazing. Another album I picked up. Again, Alice Cooper. This is on gold vinyl. This is Easy Action. So this is a Rocktober release. Mine came from Austria because I couldn't buy it in Canada. So it took, I think it took like 2 months to get here from Austria. And it's on gold, like I said. And this isn't one of Alice's most popular albums. Usually it's ranked, I forget how many albums he has, like 26, 32, I forget. I've lost count. But it's usually ranked second worst. Not best, but worst. Prettiest for You is usually his worst album by most people's standards. This is ranked number 2 for worst. I wouldn't put it that low. I guess I listened to it a lot as a teenager because I bought it on CD at one point. And I like Mr. and Misdemeanor, Laughing at Me, Refrigerator Heaven, Beautiful Fly Away. A lot of good songs on here. They're kind of trippy, psychedelic, hippie-ish. I know Alice Cooper claims to be the one who put the sword through the heart of the hippie generation, but this, come on, they kind of look hippie-ish. Their long hair. It is psychedelic rock. The next album is where they really took off because Bob Ezrin took over. And the next album, Love to Death, is my favorite Alice Cooper album. And I think I'll cover that in just one episode one day on its own. Another album I got this because I saw Nas Nomad do a feature on it. And it was Halloween. I'm like, oh man, I got to get this. I can't show you all of it because there's some female nudity in it. So it is Witchcraft. And this is a really interesting album because it was released in 1969, 1 year before the album Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. And there's a song on here called Black Sabbath. And the bassist of this band name is John Osborne, which is Ozzy Osbourne's real name. And this is really limited edition. Oop, that's the one I can't show you. And it's got lyrics. And like I said, it is on black or red vinyl. And this kind of sounds like Jefferson Airplane to me. If like I heard this playing and wasn't really listening to the lyrics, I'd think it's just Jefferson Airplane. On side 2, so I got this in November, started November, and I was listening, or I was watching The House on Haunted Hill, or The Haunting of Hill, The House on Haunting Hill, the Netflix show that everyone, if you watch Netflix or you work, and people were probably talking about the show, the House on Haunted Hill. I don't know. It's like a Netflix series. Really good. Really good series. I can never get the name right. It's based on a book by Shirley Jackson. That I do know. And they made a movie of it in like 1999 with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Owen Wilson. And then they based this TV series off that book. And it's not really like the book. They just kind of share some character names and the house is haunted. Anyway, there's a seance on disc 2 of that. And that started playing and I had to take, because I was so spooked out by watching the show, I had to take the needle off the record and stop that seance. Plus, I just bought this house. I bought the house like 3 years ago. Slowly renovating. As you can see, I got a lot of junk in the back of this room. This is my kind of storage room office for now. But I didn't want to like damn my house with a curse by playing the seance. So, haven't heard the record in its entirety, but from what I did hear, from when I play side 1 quite frequently, I do like. It's just kind of, it's satanic, but it's kind of a gimmick. And I'd recommend it if you can find it, but it is kind of hard to find. And next album I got was Metallica and Justice for All. This is on 2 LPs. It was recently reissued in November. Sounds great, really crisp. Again, you can't hear the bass. It's on black vinyl, Metallica's own label now. I think it's called Blackened. Really cool album. If you don't already have it on vinyl, why not pick it up? It was 20 bucks when I got it. I think it's gone up to 29, but yeah. And another soundtrack. This is for Popcorn. This is an album I didn't know much about. I kind of bought it on a whim. I kind of paid 40 bucks for it. The thing with soundtracks is if you don't get them right away, they skyrocket some of these things. When they go out of print, they go up to like hundreds of dollars. So I was kind of caught in the Halloween spirit. I always saw this VHS cover in, I guess it's more like this. That was the VHS cover. I always saw it in stores, like VHS stores, rental stores when I was a kid. Never saw the movie until 2 weeks ago. And I bought the soundtrack without ever seeing the movie because it was by a composer I like. I don't think it tells me who the composer is. Oh, yeah, Paul Zaza. So he did Prom Night, My Bloody Valentine. A lot of Canadian movies. I don't know if he is Canadian. So this came with some liner notes. And just a little graphic. And it's by Strange Disc. That's the record label that does this, Strange Disc. There was like a variant that had like a popcorn kind of black and white vinyl. This one's just black, but there's the label there. Really cool soundtrack, kind of jokey in parts. So it's part instrumental, like score, and then part in the song. The movie is kind of about this theater group that puts on a movie revival of old horror movies that were undiscovered. So it's kind of movies within movies in a sense. And there's a killer in the theater killing the theater group. And there's some supernatural aspects. And I'm not spoiling anything, but there's some montage scenes where the group's cleaning up the theater to get ready for the audience. And they play kind of goofy music that they kind of sing along to, I guess. So it's got those silly songs. And then it's got the score. And it's kind of cheesy. And the score is kind of creepy. So, yeah, good record pickup. Glad I got it. Another reissue I picked up was Anthrax, Sound of Earphoria. Never had this album, but I know all the songs. I borrowed a cassette off my buddy in high school. There's the back there. This is the 30th anniversary. It comes on black vinyl. There was a red vinyl and yellow vinyl. Like red and yellow. One disc was red, one disc was yellow. This is just 2-disc black. It was $5 more for red and yellow, and I'm like, I don't care. I'll just get on black. When you play it, that kind of spins and trips you out. And then there's the front label with the songs. Yeah, not much to say about this. I don't think a lot of people watching this are Anthrax fans, so I'm not going to cover it too much, but if you are a fan, you probably grabbed it. If not, and you kind of like Anthrax, I'd pick it up. Again, I didn't pay too much for it. I paid $24. This album was kind of disappointing. I got it. I didn't realize it was a remix album. I thought it was John Carpenter's original Lost Mixes or Lost Themes. But it's his Lost Themes album remixed. I don't think it's the full album. There's 8 tracks on here. I don't have the full album. I thought it was his original, which usually goes for like $35. This was $16. I like it though. When I was listening to it, it's just score music, kind of synthy wave keyboard stuff. If you don't know who John Carpenter is, he directed Halloween, The Thing, The Fog, Christine, a few other good movies too. Big Trouble in Little China. And he kind of went off the map for a while. I think he had a heart attack, and we just kind of lost touch with him since, I forget his last movie. I think it was something about Mars. It's a Mars movie, like, forget what it was called now. But it probably came out in like early 2000s, and we haven't seen much from him. So he always has like really cool scores. They're really simple and such. And this remix has remixes by J.G. Thirlwall, who I'm familiar with from like the 90s. He did a lot of stuff. Common remixes with stuff. I think he was in Skinny Puppy, or maybe not. He remixed Skinny Puppy, or Nine Inch Nails, or KMFDM. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people remix this stuff. Really cool stuff. There's some repeated stuff, so I think that's why I like it, because I'll be listening to it. I'm like, this song sounds familiar, and then I realize, oh, I just heard it like 2 songs ago. Good album. And my last album I got, again, not one of their best albums, but I love it. It's Kiss's, it's got like this, is it Renticular album cover? I forget what it's called. I knew it. Lenticular. Yeah, Lenticular. So yeah, you can see that. It's Kiss's Psycho Circus. This came out in 1998. And there's a lot of hype back in 1988 because the original band reunited, which was Ace Frehley, Peter Criss, Paul Stanley, and Gene Simmons. And I'm looking to get all the Kiss albums on vinyl. This was $23. So they did reunite, but they use a lot of session musicians on this. So I don't even know if Ace Frehley actually plays on this album, or Peter Criss, but they do sing. There's one song where all 4 of them sing together. It was You Wanted the Best. And Peter Criss has his own song, and Ace has his own song. And then Psycho Circus, they actually still perform in concert. It's a good tune. People kind of put this as one of their worst albums, but I wouldn't put it that bad. It's one of my favorites because, again, I did buy it in 1998 on CD when the band reunited. There's a lot of hype. I remember they were on the show called Millennium, and they had, I think, a 3D concert on just after Millennium. Not a concert, but 1 or 2 songs that you could watch. So I was kind of psyched doing that. I was pretty young in 1998. I think I was, how old would I be? I was like 20, 21. So yeah, I was really into Kiss back then. You know, I was able to go drink in the States by then, so I could go to the States to see shows in Detroit and stuff. And I saw, I think, Pantera open for him in Detroit, which was kind of awesome because I love Pantera. And Pantera broke up shortly after that. And Dimebag, of course, was shot on stage in 2003. So, and then I saw a show with Alice in Chains opening. And then I saw him in my hometown with Skid Row, but without Sebastian Bach opening. So yeah, that is my vinyl haul. I kept it under 20 minutes. We'll do part 2 next week for November. Thanks for watching. And if you like what you see, just drop a note because I'd like to follow you too if you have your own show going on. Thanks again. Cheers.